Investigative journalism, at the end of the day, is really just about diving deeper, spending more time with the story, talking to more sources, trying to find information. When it comes to Brittany Murphy, there's a lot of big claims being made here, and I want to see if any of them hold up. I came across an hour-long YouTube video that posited the question, murdered by the deep state. So naturally, that piqued my interest.
Now, the father, Angelo, comes back into the picture in order to insert themselves with some wild QAnon-like theories as to what happened with Brittany and her husband, Simon. He said also that there was the U.S. government might have taken them out, too.
911 emergency.
The official narrative doesn't tell the whole story.
But you really have to look at everything. You still have to go down that rabbit hole. You still have to go down that path.
When a celebrity dies, the search for answers moves online, and the truth may be one click away.
On December 20th, 2009, Brittany dies at Cedars-Sinai Hospital at the age of 32. There's some conflicting reports on where she was found, how she was found. Her mom originally stated that she found her laying on the patio, unable to catch her breath. I guess it was Simon's dumb idea to give her a cold shower first and then call the paramedics. So she was kind of flailing around, couldn't catch her breath, told her mom she was going to die. And then Simon's idea, because he was getting a little nervous, I think, he decided that we have to maybe try to revive her on our own, because I feel like maybe this has happened in the past. So can you play the 911 call?
This is way longer than I thought.
Fire Department 97, what's the address of the emergency?
1895 Rising Glen Road.
What's the phone number you're calling from? Tell me exactly what happened.
Oh, somebody's passed out.
Somebody what?
My daughter's passed out. They're doing mouth to mouth. Please get here quick,
okay.
please.
Okay. All right, we're going to. How old is your daughter?
She's 30. Please hurry.
She's 30?
She was
She's
32.
with you now?
32.
Yes, there's someone coming.
Yeah, ma'am. You don't have to yell. We're going to send somebody out there, okay? Is she awake?
Please, no.
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay, so somebody's doing mouth to mouth?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, that's
All right.
Simon Monjack.
Did somebody see what happened?
No.
Okay, listen to me carefully. Is there a defibrillator available? Is there a defibrillator available?
Is there a defibrillator?
Yeah. That's a rough 911
Got
call.
one in my backpack.
That was when I was watching that documentary. I'm like, Jesus Christ, the poor mom.
I've heard it a bunch.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was 8 minutes long, though.
Yeah, I think
that's a long fucking call.
She's telling Simon how to do CPR correctly, and the guy's like,
and he's not
"You're not
doing
going fast enough, sir."
Yes.
And Simon's just fucking out of it, I guess.
They're all on drugs.
Yeah, I think that every single member of this family is pretty
Yes.
fucked up.
Yeah, absolutely. You can
And they
hear it in
don't
the mom's
call it
voice in
drugs
this.
because they're doing prescription drugs.
Yeah.
So she took medication also for seizures after an incident on the production of 8 Mile.
So she was not a healthy person.
No, and I think her shaky kind of frame at this time kind of led to a lot of these issues. And also, Sharon and Simon brought back a flu. So they had a flu when they got back from Puerto Rico.
She was ill too, though, from Puerto Rico, wasn't she?
But she got it from them, I guess.
Oh,
so
she got
she
it from
didn't
them.
have it right away.
Gotcha.
So they came back for a little bit of time, and then all of a sudden, Brittany, I guess, caught the flu, and then she got sick too, and it actually led to her dying. But
Yeah, she had walking pneumonia.
But also in her system, I guess Simon was just giving her pills left and right. She had antibiotic called Biaxin. She had migraine pills in her system, cough medicine, over-the-counter nasal spray, hydrocodone, which is actually Vicodin, Prozac, Klonopin, aspirin,
Klonopin alone will fuck you up completely.
methamphetamines,
Oh.
and some anti-inflammatory called methoprednisone or something, and some other thing called chlorpheniramine. She just had everything in her system.
So
They
she had-
found more than 90 pill bottles on Simon's side of the bed alone.
And he also had a oxygen machine that he used in the middle of the night, or for his CPAP or something.
You can't make these characters up. This guy is practically melting in real life.
Yeah, from the inside out, there's something
Yeah, he's
burrowing
just
into his body.
Total, complete disaster.
On her final night, she's gasping for breath. Her lips turn blue from a lack of oxygen as her lungs filled with fluid. She told her mom, "I'm going to die." But I'd said that so often, her mom was like, "You're just being dramatic," or whatever.
And quit playing with the blue lipstick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
She had made a doctor appointment for the following Monday, but she never got there, obviously. So Simon basically just fed her with pills. They got pills from aliases that they use called Lola Manilow was Brittany's
That was
fake
a clever name.
So they just got a bunch of stuff, and evidently this guy, they just did doctor shopping. They go to a doctor, hey, can I get these pills? No, they went to the next one, and they just kept going down the line because in the U.S., in other countries, you can't really get away with this. There's no like registration. There is now for OxyContin, but not really for anything else where they have like some designated list, like who's getting what.
Hollywood's famous for that. They're called the Dr. Feelgoods.
Yeah, exactly.
Pill mills.
So it looks like Simon was pretty nervous that she died of drug intoxication and it was him. And that's probably why the reason for the cold shower or trying to revive her by not going to the paramedics or going to the emergency room, remember, because he didn't want to get in trouble. I guess another interesting thing was the coroner that worked on Brittany was actually the same one that worked on Michael Jackson. So
would have been
Did her
earlier that year in the summer.
that was like still
2009.
on the mind of people because that doctor got time.
Yes.
And the Michael Jackson thing. So maybe that's what Simon was also thinking about if he was able to think in his state. So after she passes away, Simon and Sharon do like a bunch of interviews all over the place talking about her dying, and then Simon also brings up some bullshit foundation that in which he can collect money from people for the Brittany Murphy Foundation.
Oh, yeah. He first sent a thing saying, hey, we're having a memorial on this date. And then they started the foundation and they said it's going to be a night for the foundation. And then after that, he sent out another email saying, by the way, if you're coming to the memorial, it's going to cost you this much. It's a mandatory donation to the Brittany
It was like thousands
Murphy
of
Foundation.
dollars.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
ridiculous.
small potatoes here. It was thousands.
And then when Simon was called out for it, the foundation disappeared.
Yeah, the memorial disappeared, everything.
Right. There wasn't even a memorial.
Nope.
So let's play Larry King interview.
It's been a month since you lost her. How are you doing, Simon? How you holding up?
I don't think I am.
What?
I don't think either of us are.
What did he say?
I don't think I am.
I don't think either of us are. You wake up in the morning, and it's like a rebirth. There's not enough time to... Your dreams, be they good or bad, when you wake up, and I reach out to touch or hold my wife, and she isn't there.
Were you there when
so
they said
gross.
she didn't make it?
3 people came in. Sharon and I were holding each other, and they let us know at the same time that
She's holding his hand.
She hadn't made it.
But we knew before that it was just, you saw the life go out of her.
And he's got like new hair now. Like he's got like you see pictures of him like he is losing his hair. It's kind of all coming out.
Oh, yeah.
But now he's got like a new like Wayne Newton hairdo or something.
He borrowed William Shatner's hairpiece.
Yeah, exactly.
We're back with Simon Monjack and Sharon Murphy. You didn't want an autopsy at first?
No, I did.
Are you a religious Orthodox Jew?
I was. So
Orthodox Jews don't want autopsies, right?
It wasn't that. I mean, I could blame the religion. It would be the easiest thing to do.
Bullshit.
There was this woman who had just lost her daughter who to us, it was such a shock. This pristine body that was curvy in all the right places and the skin like silk.
So
And
creepy.
how could I say in front of her mother, cut her up?
I mean, it was just
I mean, what kind of
unfathomable.
insanity is that?
So what did they do?
In the
They cut her up
moment.
anyway.
In all his interviews and appearances, he's talking. I'm so sorry.
I don't know what
Brittany was. It's like.
Let's do the Today Show with Simon and Mom.
Was there anything out of the ordinary with her?
She had a little bit of
three of
laryngitis.
Laryngitis, yes.
That was the only thing, and she. Other than that, she was, perfectly healthy.
At your home, they found a lot of prescription medication. You're saying she was not using any of those medications?
I'm saying that she used Vicoprofen for her menstrual time, and at that same time she would have Seraphim, which is an antidepressant, for 5 days a month.
Why was she
Let
depressed?
me ask you about rumors of cocaine use.
She was diagnosed with a heart murmur when she was a young teenager, and she was terrified of anything happening. She never did any drugs, ever.
The bottom line is, if
The
she
mom
done
is
cocaine,
drugged.
she'd be dead in a second.
Did she have any kind of eating disorder?
Absolutely not. You just need to go to a favorite restaurant, the Chateau Marmont, and speak to any waiter who will tell
Hi,
you
I'm here to
that
interview
you
some
would
waiters
quite
about
happily
someone
order
eating here.
4 plates of food and eat them all. It's insanity. for these rooms.
She'd get 4 plates of food?
Yeah, and then she'd eat them
What
all.
a weird
Eat
way
them
to
all.
explain
Yeah,
it.
so you could just walk into Chateau Marmont and just start asking waiters, like, hey, what did this person
She
get?
ate too much food, if you ask me.
If you ask me.
Yeah,
I
I
wanted
think-
some of that food from my soup.
Yeah, he was eating her food,
Yeah,
clearly.
no shit.
Eating all their food.
Yeah. I think the thing with him is he tried to be the center of attention at any time he could, or try to elevate himself.
He controlled Brittany and he controlled the mom. You can see it in the Larry King interview.
Yeah.
He finishes her sentence.
Well,
he interrupts her.
I'm glad you brought that up, because at one point in the Larry King interview, he goes, well, she told me a couple of days before that she felt very ill. And he's like, no, she didn't. She didn't, dog. She didn't, dog. She didn't say that. You're wrong. You're misremembering. And like,
yeah,
because that fucked up his narrative.
Yeah, exactly.
She just started feeling like shit that day.
Yes, and that's what that girl from Radar Online said in the documentary.
Yeah.
She knew how to deal with a narcissist because there was intense media interest in this story, and they were showing up at the house, the night she died and so on.
There was, yeah.
So he started conversing with a reporter there, basically.
Yeah, she left flowers there with a card, with her phone number, and all of a sudden he calls her and just is like, I want to talk to you about everything. And at some
Would
point...
you like to tour the house?
At some point, it's like way too much. Starts calling her when she's on vacation and stuff, and she was like, does this guy want to like have sex with me or something? But she was like, in a committed relationship with a female, so he was really barking up the wrong tree there. But yeah, that tour of the house, I guess, was very strange. That's where I saw the
creepy.
bathroom and stuff.
Yeah.
In that tour, he's just like, I haven't been in the bathroom since it happened, but that's where Brittany died, right there. It looks like a hoarder's junkyard.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you
looked
do
the
after
shit-
after you get over the shock. You start going
He
through
all of a
this
sudden
stuff.
goes in the middle of it and he goes, oh, look at this jacket. This is a very nice leather jacket of hers. You see this? And the cameraman's like, yeah, great.
And there's a moment he picks up a photo of Brittany in the living room. Do you guys remember what he described about that picture? It was something weird.
Yeah, these are pictures I took of Brittany. This was actually used at the funeral. I just thought it was a perfect theatrical photograph of someone who was just taking their final bow.
I do remember the mom and him with some picture with Brittany down below where they're next to each other. And there's a picture of Brittany. They almost look like someone says like a mom and dad. Their kid is Brittany. It's very strange. The funny thing about him, or not funny, it's very sad. Like, he spent $3 million of her money in 3 years.
Yeah.
She was, she's not making $20 million a movie. That is already going away, and she's not really doing that. He is just blowing her money on shit. He's paying for his kids overseas to go to school and shit. And he's paying to go to Chateau Marmont, to dinner every night.
That's what I thought of when you were talking about the mom seeing what she could get for the jewelry.
Yeah.
And finding out it was worthless. Not only did she end up with that worthless jewelry, but he cleaned Brittany out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Mom was left with nothing.
Nothing, just the house and the pension.
Well, all of a sudden, 5 months later, after all these weird interviews and stuff are done, on May 23rd, 2010, Simon Monjack drops dead at the same property.
Finally, a good part to this story.
Yeah. So his official death was pneumonia also, which is really weird. I guess he had told people in the past that he had a leaky heart valve. Not only was he kind of out of shape and like older, but he also had like ongoing heart issues and
Just
stuff.
plug it up with some shock cartilage.
Yeah.
That was shocking about Brittany's death certificate as well, that it was listed as pneumonia when there were all these other drugs involved.
Well, this is my theory. I think because their immune systems were so battered down, his was. They were just like together, like Sid and Nancy, just treating their bodies very badly.
Yeah.
And then it allows like the flu. You can die from the flu if like you're really
run down. Yeah.
If you really run down.
A very unromantic, greasy Sid and Nancy.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, official cause of death, pneumonia.
Yeah, they were saying like when she was doing the autopsy that she took pieces of the lung and she put it in water, and your lung tissue was supposed to float, and hers just immediately sank.
Yeah.
That's in his too.
Yeah, his toxicology, he had Celexa, Cymbalta, Desriel. I feel like they make up more prescriptions just for Simon.
Just for that.
Yeah. Valium, Ativan, all these other anti-anxiety drugs. Also Vicodin, Lyrica, Tylenol, and a drug called Inderol. Yeah.
End it all.
End it all, mate. So yeah, I think all these things kind of added up. And it still seemed pretty odd that he died also. Now, the father, Angelo Bertolotti, comes back into the picture. Also, half-brother Anthony Bertolotti.
Yeah.
In order to insert themselves with some wild QAnon-like theories as to what happened with Brittany and her husband Simon. So one of the theories, he said there was a drug debt that they owed from shadowy deals, and he even claimed that her own mother was sharing a bed with Monjack, which they were actually.
Yeah.
And he was kind of saying there was some relationship there.
Yeah, with Monjack and Sharon.
Monjack and Sharon.
Brittany's mom would crawl into bed with Simon.
She admitted
after
to it.
Brittany died. Yeah.
And they would hold each other.
But that's the tip of the iceberg. He said also the U.S. government might have taken them out too. He did an interview with this.
Well, that's insane.
No, he did.
He sounds like Michael Shannon from Bug.
He got in January 2012, he sued in order to get hair and tissue samples so he could get tests done. And he got these tests done of her hair. And they came back with like 10 certain metals or something that could be part of rat poison. But the coroner said, no, that was from her hair dye and stuff. And it wasn't stuff that came from her blood. So hair samples aren't really that reliable when it comes to something like that. He also went on Good Morning America and CNN to say that Brittany was poisoned and that he had evidence. I guess the coroner declined to reopen the case because he wanted the body exhumed or something.
Yeah.
And another investigation done. But he brought on this woman called Julia Davis. And this is important because she was like a former Department of Homeland Security employee who said that Brittany was her friend and supporter and that Brittany was killed by either the U.S. or Saudi Arabian government because Julia reported a suspected al-Qaeda attack with terrorists coming over the U.S.-Mexico border. She reported this to the FBI.
Brittany Murphy did?
No, this is Julia Davis.
Oh, okay.
So
I was like, wait, what?
But the reason why Brittany and Simon were killed is because they associated with Julia, and Brittany was a supporter. So they were afraid that she'd get the word out.
Yeah.
Julia was a personal friend of theirs?
Allegedly.
Okay.
And the dad, Angelo, did an interview with Julia.
Today, new shocking allegations coming from her father, who says she was poisoned. Mr. Bartolotti, why do you believe that? Why do you think that she was poisoned?
Well, it's very suspicious, and I read the reports on the toxicology reports, and everything sounds very, very, very more or less.
Boy, he sounds out of it too.
I thought he was going to have a very succinct argument, and he just
trying to crunch his way through this.
Him, Simon, and Sharon
Julia,
are pieces of work.
Was there something specific in those reports that he's talking about that leads you to believe that it was poison and not natural causes?
Yes, from the very beginning, AJ always believed that there was something very odd about Brittany's passing, and then reviewing autopsy reports, we could see that there were multiple symptoms that would usually go with poisoning, and then the test results confirmed that, where the lab found 10 heavy metals in very high quantities. So we do believe that it was poisoning, and we would like to
but the hair
have
dye
it,
makes sense.
Properly investigated.
Yeah.
This is Julia Davis's connection. The truth is no longer a secret.
This is the YouTube videos you know are just bad.
They call this the dark web.
Department of Homeland Security wasted millions of dollars on retaliatory actions of Julia Davis.
Is
a lot of it's
historical
text.
significance. So I think it'll set a precedence that they'll be talking about it, perhaps in law schools and political science classes. Maybe 100 years.
They're at a
from
sanitarium
I
right
could
now
never
interviewing the
imagined anything
patient.
so outlandish as what would happen to us in real life.
I think, this is my theory, that she's bringing this into it to get more attention to her fucking case.
Probably.
Of course.
I think that's exactly what's going on. They killed her because I stood up to the government, so
Yeah.
they took her out. And people
And she
was like, what?
probably just like called out sick too many times, and that's why she was getting fired. And she brought on some other bullshit excuse why they were letting her go.
Yeah, I think she might be an opportunist here.
You
Well,
think?
yeah. Obviously, I believe the coroner that these were actual accidental deaths.
I do too. It's clear they were not healthy people.
Yeah,
Like, why wouldn't they kill Julia Davis? Why would they kill
I know. And
two friends?
so anyway, that's all that with the father, and he's crazy. Clearly, he died a couple of years later.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he died January of 2019 at the age of 92.
Whoa.
Yeah, is it a murder?
He was older. Yeah, they took him out.
So I want to go in a little detail about the house. This house was built by Madonna, sold to Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake, then sold to Brittany Murphy. Apparently, Britney Spears had an otherworldly encounter and never went back and sold it to Brittany Murphy in 2003.
Oh, so she's been nuts for a while.
Saying it was a curse. Yeah, exactly. So Britney thought it was haunted. Britney Spears thought it was haunted also. And also, there's a big mold theory in this house. That's the other thing I wanted to bring up.
Yes.
So it seems like Simon's mother pushes this very hard. I guess her husband is a builder. Simon's father-in-law, I guess that would have been, said the mold could have been breathed in by Brittany and Simon, leading to their deaths. But I was wondering, why isn't the dog dead? Why isn't Sharon dead?
Yeah, black mold is really bad for you.
I guess the Department of Health looked at it and said it was fine. Brittany's mom, Sharon, said it was fine. But then when she wanted to sue, she said it wasn't fine. But then she just sold the house, and the house was eventually demolished.
Oh,
wow. And I guess they got rid of all the black mold, and it's an entirely different house.
Oh, that's why the house looks so different.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, Kyle's looking at pictures of the house online, and it looks clean and modern. And I'm like, that's the same house that was the drug den?
$11.6 million, 5 beds, 8.5 baths, 9,400 square feet.
Yeah, that's basically it. It was very sad.
They also said during her autopsy that she was severely anemic. They tested her hemoglobin and like her iron or whatever, and a normal level is supposed to be around 12 to 13. Hers was 3. So she said minus the pneumonia, minus all the drugs, the anemia, how severe it was enough to kill her on its own. So the fact that she had the eating disorder on top of that, plus the pneumonia, plus the drugs, is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
I think reading up on it, it's like nauseating. I was going through all this information, all these theories, different stories. Everyone's got their own thing. I think when in like the haze of superstardom and stuff, people just kind of lose track of what's actually real. And when you bring in a liar like Simon Monjack, it just really further confuses everything.
Yeah, it sucks. She was just around all these people that were just parasites.
Yeah.
She was failed on many levels. That really sucks.
I think also the wanting for superstardom is kind of like a mental disease for a lot of people.
Sure.
It's just not good for you. You're never going to get out of it what you originally wanted. And I think that's what Brittany was kind of understanding. That's why she just wanted a family and just to get married and to get away from it.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to move to New York. She wanted to leave that fucking bad mansion, leave Hollywood, and like do small movies in New York or do Broadway again. But Simon just weighed down her entire life. And
yeah, that's not going to make the money that Simon wants.
He ended her life. Meeting him was fateful.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Hollywood for you. Ain't it a bitch?
You all have to know that I feel like I just told Dave during the break, like I'm Dorothy and I just landed in Oz, and this is definitely not normal for me, and nor should I think it ever be. Like the premiere last night.
That's a nice way to look at things.
I think this is pretty darn exciting, and you never really know, like, if it'll ever happen again, So why not savor every second?
It'll happen again.
Dave, you never know.
No, it's going to happen.
Okay, all right, from your mouth to God's ears, baby. Okay.